So, hi everybody. Uh, Let me get my phone app out here because if you haven't seen, this month we've been doing a bunch of pride flags as as a series for the month since it's Pride Month. In case you didn't realize it was Pride Month. So, we are going to do a random pride flag based on I have Jazz's already game, sorry, which is a custom generator app and also a bunch of different little art mini games curated on an app by a YouTuber named Jazza. So this is something I've had a really long time and I use for all sorts of random stuff. But this time, we're going to be using it for these pride flags. So I used my little random generator and... Oh gosh, my camera's backwards now. I forgot. So, for those of you who can't read backwards, it says that today we're going to be doing the rainbow colors, which is just, usually considered the general pride flag for anybody who doesn't use a specific flag or anybody who's just an ally or just as a general support flag for the LGBTQ community. So that's really cool. And, we always love doing rainbow stuff because that means we get to use all the colors. So let's pull up some reference photos and we'll get started on our sketch here. And I had way better time doing action poses last time, so we're gonna do that again. Let's get some references up here on the monitor, and we'll get started. And again, this is all for Pride Month, so I hope everybody is having a good Pride Month. It's almost over. I think this is the last one. Yep, the last one of the month. So I guess I better make sure this one is a good one. Pick a really cool pose. Oh, you know what? I found this really cool pose where it kind of looks like the model is like floating, maybe shooting something out of their hands. So maybe we'll do like a rainbow superhero. I'm sure that's not original in any way, but it's gonna be cute, so we're gonna draw it anyway. And she's got her arms kind of like out to the sides, but also like up, because again, she's like shooting something out of her hands. And I'm so horrible at hands, so maybe we'll come back and fix these later. We want this to kind of, again, look like she's floating, so let's make sure we don't have anything like real stiff on the ground. We're gonna make sure the legs are kind of up. I'm gonna bring this leg kinda out, like they're floating in the air, and like whatever they're shooting out of their hands is like pushing them. So that it's kind of, very actiony. This is a really nice pose. And if anybody wants to know, I literally just Googled action photos, so go right ahead and Google action photos for references. You know, it's real easy to do. And it doesn't cost you any money because, Google just takes all of your data as payment. It's great. Uh, cool. And I have no idea how to draw superheroes either, so maybe we have to look up some references on what superhero costumes even look like. So, let's do that. And let's look up in comics. Because I bet we're gonna get better, like, over the top, kind of frilly, actiony looking costumes that way. And we want to make sure we have space for lots of colors. So, first off, what should we do about these rainbow? Oh, you know what? Maybe instead of like some sort of beam or whatever I was thinking before, maybe we'll give them like some sort of rainbow trinkets like we gave our pan drawing, but just like, superhero trinkets. Like, I don't know, like an orb or, let's look up superhero trinkets. Oh, I guess that makes sense. I always seem to pick the wrong words originally for searches. I think I just pick the wrong, like, weird words in general for things when I speak. What would that be called? Like, superhero objects. That looks like it worked better. Oh, you know what? That'd be kind of fun. Maybe we'll do like a rainbow infinity gauntlet. Because, you know, like I said at the beginning, the rainbow flag is kind of like the thing for everybody. But also, I do not draw metal and stuff well, so this might be a little tricky. We'll do our best. Okay, and I don't want it to actually be exactly that. I just kind of want it to be like styled like that, you know? I kind of want it to be, because we need it to have a couple more stones anyway, right? Or at least one more. It's only got 6, right? Yeah, so or I guess it does just have, we could just have it be purple and not do 2 purples. But decisions. These are things I'm not good at making. Well, you know what? Maybe while we're thinking about that, we'll give them some big old flowing superhero hair. That I can do. And we want it to kind of be like curving in the wind. And just kind of like coming off the head like in really big sections. To kind of suggest that there's a lot of volume there. You know, superheroes always have lots of really big, perfectly windblown hair. So and again, I'm saying all of these things about superheroes because I'm trying to make like a really like a stylized, very cartoon looking, comic styled superhero. If you don't want your superhero to have like perfectly windblown hair or like big old cheekbones, go right ahead. But mine is going to. For rainbow purposes. So, let's get some facial features in here while I still sit and make too many decisions about this glove that I'm staring at. And cool. And you know, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna give them maybe like some sort of other just random orb based on absolutely nothing in this hand. And then instead of like a really metallic stiff glove that's gonna look horrible no matter how hard I try, I think I'm going to do, we said this was inspiration anyway, so I think I'm gonna do kind of just like a leather style material glove, but we're just gonna base just the style of it on this gauntlet. So we're gonna give it maybe just like some metal accents. And some metal fixtures, of course, for the stones. And again, apologies for my horrible hands. I do my best. But maybe one of these streams after Pride Month, after this series is done, we'll just sit down and work on hands, because I am really bad at hands. And I know that this is a problem many people have. Maybe I'll have to just look at hands for 3 hours or something ridiculous. Let me know if you guys want to see that. Three hours of me drawing hands, jeez. And maybe we'll do like little metallic gold bands just on the ends of the fingers, just to, and maybe here another one on the wrist, because I think I'm gonna make, since I want it to look more leathery, I think I'm still gonna make the base of the glove brown, but we'll do more of like just a flat brown for the leather, but maybe we'll do more of like a shiny gold color for some extra bands, just to bring it back to this original design of the gauntlet. Cool. Now we have to give her like some superhero clothes, so maybe we'll give her another glove that kind of comes more up her arm. Maybe we'll give her those on both sides. She's just wearing this under, the special gauntlet glove on this side. Oh, and maybe these have rainbow bands on them. That's cute. I like that. Cool. What else can we put on here? Well, while I think about that, I'm gonna sip this coffee. Let me know if you guys think of anything cool for our rainbow superhero. I think I'm gonna give them just like one random extension here that is also rainbow colored, so maybe I'll block that out now, because I kind of want it to stay where it's at a little bit. So let's mark it out here, kind of in the middle of the hair, coming around to the front. Cool. And now let's give our superhero flashy superhero costume. Maybe we'll style kind of the suit part kind of on Wonder Woman's suit. I always really liked Wonder Woman. I mean, I know that's not a hot take or anything. Lots of people like Wonder Woman, but also just she does have a very aesthetic suit. She just looks nice in her costume. Excuse me. But then instead of, all the gold and stuff, and I think I'm gonna leave the metal plates and stuff out and kind of change it to more of like some little flowing shoulder pieces. Because who needs big old metal armor when you have special gauntlet that does all of the everything, right? I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I will be honest, after having drawn that whole thing, I have not seen the movie that this is a big thing from, so. We'll give some little overhang pieces here in the front, and then let's see, how do I want these rainbow pieces to work? I think actually I'm gonna make this come down more just like a slope, and then same to this, and then I think that is gonna create better guidelines for all of the rainbow bits. So we're gonna do that and then create some more stripes here across the front. Well, I like that a lot better. And then I want this flowing sleeve thing to kind of come off here on the other side and kind of fly off in the same direction as the hair. And we're gonna put like some feathers or tufts or something coming off the bottom of the costume here, because we can make all of that rainbow too, and that'll be fun. Cool, that actually looks like it's coming along really good. And maybe we'll get some thigh high or some knee high, rainbow boots to go with our gloves. Again, when you have the gauntlet that does everything, the outfit does not need to be practical. So, let's give them some big old ridiculous boots like shiny big old buckles. Little tiny teeny bottoms could not walk in these. But it doesn't matter who needs to do any walking. We're just gonna do a little shoe buckle there. And we're just gonna make it a heart. That's cute. I like that too. This one is coming along very nice. Alright, and that does seem to be most of the things that need to go in here. Maybe we'll draw the top of this boot over here because you can't really see it, but you can probably see the top. I think that's gonna be just about it for the sketch. Let me sit and think a minute, and we'll sip more coffee. But that does look pretty superhero-y. So we've got our superhero trinkets and stuff, and some cool rainbow costume. Well, it's not rainbow yet, but it will be. Cool rainbow costume base. Maybe I should add some buckles or something. I've already got feathers though. We don't wanna. It's kind of a hat on a hat. Maybe we'll put more feathers. Where could we put more feathers? Maybe we'll put feathers coming out of the tops of the boots. Like maybe the boots are lined with feathers. Okay. I think that'll have to be it for the sketch. Let's it's looking very superhero. And on that note, I think it's time to move this over to the computer. So let's get our handy dandy phone out. And take a really nice picture to send to myself. And we'll get it all filled up here for you guys. Let me know if you guys are working on any Pride stuff. That'd be fun to hear about. In the comments or the chat or wherever you're seeing this. I want to know what you guys are working on. It's fun. There we go. Let's get that pulled up over here in Krita, which is the drawing program that I usually use on my computer. And you'll have to excuse the Windows noises. I said this last time, but I do not have enough USBs to actually run the stream. Like I'm moving the sketchbook right now and you can't see it anymore because I've unplugged the camera to plug in my tablet because I do not have enough USBs. But that is okay. We have just enough USBs to switch over in the middle if everyone can excuse the Windows noises. So let me move this physical stuff out of the way and we will get the sketch up on the computer for you guys so we can have some color and some lines. If you guys like how this sketch is going and you want to see any of my other stuff, there's plenty of links over on my page for you guys to check out. All of my pages link to pretty much everywhere else. It's like a loop, I think. I think everywhere links to everywhere else now. I'm just saying, there shouldn't be anywhere you're seeing this where you can't find everything else. So go right ahead and look if you're interested. Cool. So that's our sketch over on the computer, and let me switch over to that window here for you guys. And we're gonna turn the opacity down on the sketch and paint the background because I much prefer doing the line art on basically no sketch. I've been giving you guys lots of tips, so I guess here's another one. One of the things that has been really helpful for me doing line art is if you just turn your sketch like down in opacity quite a lot, or if you're using traditional medium, if you just erase it quite a bit. I have a kneaded eraser for this, for when I'm working on physical like papers and canvas and things. Because really when you're doing line art, it's important for you to be treating the lines still as if there are. Lots of people try really hard to kind of like trace their sketch because they think their sketch is like really pretty, and I am totally someone who does this quite a bit. It's just a bad habit for lots of people who do art. But when you have lines, especially when you're doing inking, right? Like, ink is supposed to be really clean, clear, crisp lines. So if you're just trying to trace something, it doesn't really matter how nice your sketch is, it's almost always going to come out looking worse. So you have to treat your inking, whether you're doing traditional or digital mediums, as if it's its own sketch, basically. Like if it's as if you're refining your sketch one final time, just with ink. Oh, and I'm realizing that I did not pick. Okay, there we go. And don't be me, don't almost layers. Layers are important when you're doing digital art. I almost just drew on my sketch, which is something I've done many times. And usually when you do it, you end up having to just redo lots of work. So just, if you're doing digital art specifically, remember to use layers. And if you're doing traditional art, remember to use supplies that work together and that aren't going to destroy your artwork. That's kind of the same as using layers. No, it isn't. Anyway. We're gonna start with the hair and the face because I always try to start other places and then end up starting with the hair and the face anyway. And since we've given our superhero kind of this feathered look, I think we're gonna make this rainbow stripe in her hair kind of feathery too. Like, maybe it's like one of those feather extensions. I've seen people doing those a lot lately. And some of them look super cute, so. I mean, I probably do not have enough hair to put a feather in it. I mean, I could put a feather in this, but I mean, this is totally my real hair. It's very rainbow and very long. But also, I don't know how people manage that. I mean, lots of them start out with like really tacky looking feathers too. I'm not a trust the process person. Even with my own art, sometimes I'll be like, oh man, that looks so nasty, just gross, and I won't want to work on it. And then I'll finish it and I'll be like, oh, okay, well, yeah, that looks great now, but also it did look nasty. Process is important. Also, I think probably nobody likes their own art for the most part. I have heard this from multiple sources that if you like your own art a lot all the time, that you're probably either not trying anything that you haven't done before, like you're just really comfortable doing your same little thing over and over again, which, you know, is fine if you have like a market for that, or if you just aren't that interested in having any more complicated drawings than what you do, or, you know, you have some sort of really simplistic style that doesn't need a lot of consistent refinement, you know, stuff like that. There are reasons, but also, you know, for the most part, everybody is always working hard to get better and try harder, and I think that when you're looking at that in your art, it usually means that you don't like what you see because you're picking out stuff that you could improve on and that you could do better next time, and that's really like your brain trying to tell you to work on it next time, but a lot of the time it feels like just hatred or dislike or whatever you want to call it of your own stuff. So that kind of sucks for, I mean, everybody, but especially for new people that are just starting to do art or crafts or pretty much anything. I think people probably have that problem starting out lots of different hobbies. Cool. And we're gonna come in and do the bangs. And I think we're just gonna have some extra little feather things coming off of her ears here. I think that's what we're gonna do with that. And again, we're gonna come over here and do the face because I always say I'm gonna do something else and then I just do the face. So. And I actually want to be careful here because I have a very like smooth style for when I draw noses, and I want this to look very comic book cartoony. So we're gonna come in here and draw like a whole triangle on the bottom, and then I think actually I need the triangle to come up a little more. There we go. Just because she's tilted at kind of this angle. There, and straight back. There we go. That looks good. Just make this meet up a little nicer. I'm gonna give her some very clean superhero eyebrows. I mean, if you have an Infinity Gauntlet that does everything, probably you don't even have to like trim your eyebrows or anything. They just like come out perfect every day because you say so. So we're gonna make them really nice. Cool. And some big old wingtip eyeliner. Not quite as big as we've had on some of the other ones. Actually, I don't know. I don't know about that. But, you know, large anyway. I do my best with lipstick and eyeliner, but honestly, I am so bad at circles. Like, it's just difficult. Lots of the time, and I know this is what you're supposed to do anyway, but lots of the time when I do makeup, I just have to use, like, only curves that are already there. But also, like, if I want to do something flashy or cartoony or, like, for cosplay, that makes it a little bit harder. Just because I'm not so good at curves. Maybe that's what we'll have to do. We'll have to go on like a tirade of learning dumb little things after this. I just line up projects for myself, don't I? don't know if other people have this problem, but I just pick things to do, and then I go, okay, cool, I need to do all of them. And I go to my schedule book and I go, okay, no, I literally can't. I literally can't do all of them. And my brain goes, okay, but you have to anyway, so. So then I just do nothing. It's really cool. But we're here doing our best on all these little pride pieces for you guys, and hoping that they come out good so you guys enjoy them. And thank you to Outer Tone for having all of this lovely music for me to use that's copyright free, because YouTube just does not seem to be playing the music that I ask it to play. So since it's copyright free anyway, we've just downloaded all of it, and I'm still gonna tag what the songs are, just, you know, to give them credit, because I appreciate them. But it's all copyright free music, which is really nice. And then, since we want the feathered hair to kind of stand out and the rest of this to be kind of flowy, we're gonna come in here and add some big old billowy hair curves for the rest of this. Actually, I'm gonna do this line here. There, that's better. Fix this a little bit so it meets. See, this is what I'm talking about. If I had just sat here and traced all of these little billow things I did for the hair, it would not have looked this good. Because as I'm working on the line art, I'm also thinking about how I can make it just a little bit nicer than the sketch, instead of just sitting here trying to trace the sketch that I already have. It's a good system. And the other thing is, if you have a drawing program and you zoom in to do a lot of these details, like, that's fine even if you're just doing inking, but also you want to make sure that you are looking at what, like, your overall picture looks like. Up here in the top right you can't really see, it's covered by the event viewer, but for me I have a little image of what my whole picture looks like, pretty much no matter what stage I'm in, just up in the top right of my screen, so that I can see how all of my line art looks, even if I'm way zoomed in to fix, like, her nose or her ear or something like that. And since this is like a knitted hand, we're gonna not worry so much about her fingers on this one. Just draw some kind of clean little glove curves. There, that looks nice. And then I still wanted this to have maybe like a metal accent and then some rainbow stripes. We're gonna give her this cool little orb. Circles. We'll get it. We'll get it eventually, I swear. Okay, that's good enough. And maybe we'll make this like some little yin yang ball. You know, just for fun, since I didn't really have anything that this was based on anyway. Make sure the hair stays looking kind of flowy, where we don't have those feathers, so I'm gonna keep trying to keep these big billowy curves in the hair. And I'm gonna come in here and block in the shoulder before I lose it in all the billowy hair that I just was talking about. And I'm gonna come down here and draw out this flowy little sleeve. Cool, and I also want to make sure we get some kind of a shoulder just like peeking out behind this, because it's not all the way up her forearm or whatever. This one's your, the one in the front is your forearm, right? I think so, because it's forearm. I don't know. That makes sense to me, but also sometimes things are just named really weird in English, so sometimes things are just named really weird. I don't know. But yeah, either way, her elbow's peeking out. And yeah, that looks good. Let's finish off this hair with a couple little swoops just flying off the back here. Bring some of these edges up just a little where we have little tips on these corners. Oops, I overcleaned that one. Okay. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's go over here to this other shoulder now. I want it to be connected pretty high up, but I didn't actually want it to be over the neck or anything, so we're gonna have it stop about right there. And maybe we'll have some little buttons where it's connected to the chest plate there. Ooh, maybe it's a cape. Nah, I don't actually like that. So we're gonna just keep it little sleeves. See guys, you can try things and not like them and change your mind. Just saying. Not pointing at anything. Anyway. Let's see. We can get that to look kind of swoopy and nice. There we go. That looks pretty good. And I think I'm gonna give just like some little folds in the end of the fabric there. Cool. Okay. And let's go over here and do this little knockoff infinity glove. Oh, thank you for the follow. Hi. We're just sitting over here working on this rainbow drawing. We're doing a rainbow superhero for Pride Month. It's the last one, so we figured better make it count. Oh, well, go right ahead and hang out. We're just sitting and working on this drawing anyway, so... And I'm gonna come over here and work on this knockoff infinity glove. And add some little metal accents first so that they look really sharp, and we'll come in and do the leather part later. Aw, that's unfortunate. I'm sorry somebody did that. It sucks people can't just be nice to each other. Especially over something as silly as, like, what you want to be called. Like, I mean, people change their name to dumb stuff all the time and nobody bats an eye. You know, there's lots of good information out there for people on biology. Some people just insist they know a lot about it, despite knowing what we teach to small children about it. But that's okay. We should just all be our bestest, nicest selves, and that's all we can do. Because we can't change what other people are doing anyway, so. Ah. Well, I mean, that, yeah, anyway. We're gonna go back to working on this glove now. But yeah, so this glove I said before, we're doing it based on, kind of based on the Infinity Gauntlet, but mostly just inspired on the Infinity Gauntlet. So we're gonna add these metal bands first so that they stand out against the leather. No matter who you are. And that's what this one for today is all about anyway, because we're doing all of the rainbow colors, which is for everybody. So, you know, cis, trans, everybody is allowed to be here and enjoy our rainbow flag piece. And we're gonna add some shiny little bands around these stones that are gonna be our rainbow colors. I guess this is kind of on the side, so we want it to be kind of on the bottom. That looks better. And then this should be really small little rings. So maybe I'm gonna zoom in a little bit for this part. We can see all of the other horrible lines that will look less gross when I zoom back out. And some little bands right there. And cool. Let's give this last one another band. Sorry this is taking so long. I said this earlier, but I am just so horrible at circles. Cannot manage it. If somebody said, draw a circle or die, I'd probably die. If there's some sort of like circle metric of it being a circle and I have to get like a C or die, like I probably don't pass. That's okay. We're gonna do our best to, you know what, we're gonna cheat. We're gonna use the circle tool. This one is far enough forward that we can cheat a little bit, I think. I will have to turn. There? No, that's gonna look stupid. Okay, anyway. I lied. We're not gonna use the circle tool. We're gonna fix it. I'll do this, guys, I promise. I can probably draw one more circle that looks like a circle. You know what, we're gonna draw parts of a circle, and good enough. Cool. And this is actually in front of this one, so we're gonna clean that up a little bit. There. And this looks kind of ugly all zoomed in like this, but I think as long as they are mostly circle shaped, it's gonna look fine once I zoom back out. And I'm gonna get this one that's kind of over here on the thumb too before I zoom back out, just so we can make sure we keep this kind of skinny metallic buckle look. Cool. Maybe while I'm real zoomed in like this, I'll get these metal bands on the fingers line too. This one has to be a little bit longer. There. And one more down here on the end of the pointer finger, because it's going to be the only finger we see besides the thumb. There we go. Oh, sorry, I missed a question. I'm gonna be live until probably, like, let's see, I started at 6 p.m. ET, so I think usually I do 3 hours, so like 9 p.m. ET. We're gonna get the fingers blocked out here real quick, and then but the sketch also took way longer on this one, and so has the line art, so maybe we'll end up being live a little bit longer even, who knows. Yeah, plenty of time. Get some skinny leather fingers in here. In between these metal bands. And I'm gonna do these thicker lines on the bottom just so I don't have to worry so much about the shading later to make them look real skinny in the middle. Cool. And bring the comb up here. Just come off right here. Cool. And just connect this back to all these little knuckle things, our little jewels, and we've got our cute little infinity glove. And what I want to do, let's do this other arm real quick, and we just want it to be, again, kind of like a fabric between the metal looks, so we're gonna worry not too terribly much about them meeting exactly with the lines we already have here. We just want it to look like it's continuing these other sections between, or from before and after the metal, between the metal. There. And we're gonna add some of these stripes in over here, even though you probably won't be able to see them because some of them are covered up by our power glove. Cool. And we're gonna zoom back out and pick something else to work on. while I decide whether I'm gonna draw the feathers on her waist or the suit next, I'm gonna sit here and drink a little bit of my coffee. Okay, I think I am gonna draw this chest piece first. And then, just because I think it's gonna look nicer if I come through and I erase the spots where these feathers are gonna be hitting the fabric. So we're gonna do the places where there's fabric first. We're gonna give her some kind of sharp little angles on the chest plate here at the top, just to kind of make it stand out. And cool. That looks pretty good. And we're gonna come under here and draw the bodysuit. And I saw this in some of the reference images that I had pulled up before. They had kind of like a stitch down the center just to make the costume look really symmetrical, because superheroes are, at least in comic books and stuff, again, I'm trying to do like a very stereotypical comic style character here. And usually comic styles are about being like very posed, you know, so I'm trying to make it look very posed, and I think these symmetrical center lines are all about trying to look very posed. Kind of like when you put lines down the back of like tights and stuff, you know, so that they look very symmetrical. Even if they're not, even if they're horrible and their curves are bonkers like mine. And don't hardly look like curves. So let's get that in there. Cool. And I wanted the rainbow stripes to stop here, and I think I'm gonna probably make the bottom piece of the bodysuit maybe like white and black to go with this little yin yang thing we did before. That'll be kind of cute, I think. And I'm gonna make sure again, I said this last time I was drawing, but that all of our fabric comes up off the body if we want it to have volume. Like this top piece, I want it kind of be skin tight superhero costume, but here I'm gonna put some little cuffs on the bottom piece, so I want it to come up off the body a little bit, and I'm gonna give it a little bit of an extra curve off of my sketch just to make sure that that is really clearly some extra fabric there. And then we're gonna come through and draw these cuff pieces. Whoops. And then I think before I draw the, instead of erasing, I'm gonna just draw the one part of the cuff, and then we'll draw the bottom in between the other feathers. So let's add some of these fluffy little feathers. And I'm gonna come through and add random ones on the top first, and then I'll come through and add some other ones just in between them so that it looks like they're kind of varying heights on the belt. Just make it look extra kind of fluffy. I actually think I want to do like that. Cool. Oh, it looks like I need to replace my pen nib maybe. One side of it is kind of slanted. I was wondering why I was doing that. Oh, that's one of the other things I really like about this. I have this Huion tablet that I bought on a Black Friday sale forever ago. And the other thing I like about it is this Krita pen, or sorry, this Huion pen that in Krita works pretty well, but it also has like 1,000,001 replacement nibs, so I could draw like 1,000,001 things in Krita and would still have enough nibs. Like I think I bought this back in 2020 or something. It was a couple of years ago now, and I still, I think, haven't used even half of the replacement nibs that it comes with. It's a really great pen. And it does come with a lot of replacement parts, and even though I haven't had to use the customer service, I have heard that the Huion customer service is pretty good too, so. I'm sure if my tablet dies over, that'll be nice. Oh gosh, I hope I didn't just jinx myself. I love this tablet. I don't want it to die ever. It actually is immortal, I lied. It can't die. Literally can't. It's impossible. It's one of the Canvas Pros. I think it's 13, but oh gosh, I meant to check this after last time, but I forgot to. But it's really nice though. It has like a huge display, like it is kind of just like working on the screen, which is really comfortable and nice. And it does come with a stand, and the stand is really nice to use, but it also is quite bulky. Right now, this is kind of janky, but I have it on just like an iPad tablet stand because it holds it and isn't quite as much space on my desk. Alright, we're gonna come back and add some more of these little feathers. And I did draw them coming all the way to the center here, but I think maybe we'll just have them cut off like about here, like they're kind of ringed around the back of our character. So maybe we'll give like some extra tuft coming off the back here, just to kind of signify that, and we'll come in and bring this band around the front here. Cool. Ah, curves. Deadly. Deadly to drawings because I'm bad at them. Alright, and we're gonna finish off this little bottom piece here. And I'm gonna add these stripes on the bodysuit. I have seen parts of Twilight. I never really got into that though. Taylor Lautner is very cute, and so is Robert Pattinson, and that is about what I know about Twilight. I am so bad at names, so even if I have seen a million things with that person, I probably am not gonna know who it is. I only know those two actors I just named because I know absolutely nothing about Twilight. And probably because they're cute. Being cute probably helps me remember their names because people were very about them being cute for a while. And I remember Marilyn Monroe, who was also very about being cute. Okay, I don't think I know who this person is, but I looked them up and they are very cute. My hair kind of looks like the run through the blender version of that under all of this rainbow. We're gonna try and make sure that all of these angles on the legs are very angled and all of the curves are very curved because I think that's one of the things that distinguishes like traditional comic book styles a lot is that they are very liberal with like sharp and smooth lines being in the same spaces. Like a lot of the time when you see stylized drawings, you pick one or the other, right? You pick really hard edges so that your drawings look kind of sharp, or you pick really soft edges so that your drawings look kind of soft. But I think in a lot of comic books, they have a lot of really varied lines of soft variety and hard variety and all of all of the lines, you know? They're just very liberal with their line quality. And I think that that is something I'm gonna take into account here and just make sure that here on the knee we have some really sharp edges, but then on the rest of the leg we have some very smooth lines. Cool. That looks good. And we're gonna come over here and do the other leg. I think I'm gonna erase this because I think this is too thin, because this is gonna be the leg that's closer to us, and I want it to be a little bit thicker than that. Cool. Oh, good luck with your assignment. And I usually just let people use whatever pronouns they like for me. I'm gender fluid and I don't really like updating people all the time. So if you want to call me they, them, or she, her, or he, whatever is fine with me. As long as you're being respectful about it, I'm okay with whatever. Maybe I should put that in my bio or something. I didn't think about that even a little bit. That's probably a good thing to have in there. I don't know why my tablet does that sometimes. Every once in a while it'll decide that I can't undo a line until I just put like a random dot or something down on the screen. I wonder if it's an input thing. Maybe it's USB lag, because again, I am maxing out all of my USB resources. There is not a single unused USB, even after I bought a USB extender on my laptop right now. So there's definitely a possibility. I am just asking my tablet to undo when it is not even listening to me. And I think I'm gonna draw these boots before I do the feathers. Because again, I want the feathers to kind of like just be fluffy and popped out, and I don't really want to worry about how the feathers look. Aw, that stinks. Yeah, uni is hard. Yeah, I did really well in uni, but the amount of work that I had to do for that was kind of ridiculous. I have like some actual white hairs on my head that I know are definitely just from staying up and doing homework 60 hours a week or whatever. Now I'm not even using it, I'm sitting here doing this, so best of luck. Maybe fell out. I mean, they do just also kind of fall out if they're like gray and dead. I was gonna go work in tech. I majored in computer stuffs, actually. So very different than this. Just because I like computers. I didn't have a computer until like high school, and then I just kind of thought they were fascinating. Um, but then I found out in college that the tech industry is not so nice to weirdos like me where I'm at. Uh, actually, both. I there were a couple of different programs at my school for it that I kind of double dipped in and got a major and some minors and stuff. Oh, very cool. Oh, that's awesome. Well, yeah, like I said, I know it is a lot of work, so best of luck. And sounds like you're trying to do your homework right now, so I'm sure you're doing your best. I was so bad at computer tests because a lot of the time when you're working on a computer, the computer will give you feedback on what you're doing, right? And a lot of the time when you're taking computer tests, it's like still on paper, even though it's for a computer. Uh, and I was really kind of lost a lot of the time without being able to just like check that what I was doing or what I was writing on the paper was actually something that would work in the computer. And I know lots of people will be like, oh, well, that's because, you have to learn how to do it on the paper, so we're not using the computer resources. But there are so many computer resources now that I think that's kind of an irrelevant argument. We had like one test, I think, that was actually on a computer for my computer classes, and uh, there was like a test about computers where we had to code or something, and that was on the computer, and that was like the best test. Yeah, no, you're actually supposed to be the computer all by yourself. There's actually supposed to be no point in having the computer. But yeah, no, I remember actually one of my classes, I did so badly on the test that if I had not had like almost, I think I had almost like 100% A. And if I had not had almost 100% A, I would have just like failed flat out because of the final. Yeah, computer tests are rough. Oops. Keep accidentally opening that quick menu. Maybe I'll have to figure out where it is and either learn how to use it or just disable it. Maybe I can set it to undo or something so I can stop using... Maybe I could set it to undo and have one more USB slot by unplugging my keyboard. That's nice. I mean, I had to do a couple of online classes with all the everybody staying inside. But also because it was like supposed to be in-person classes, it wasn't as well-rounded as if I had just been in an environment that was set up to be that way. So I didn't do so well at those either. But also, one of the things I was trying to take was like a conversational language class because I took a lot of Japanese. But conversational language classes in a class where you can't really talk to the other students are kind of horrible, kind of awful. So I ended up not taking those online. Oh, and I just realized I cut our really cool boots out of frame. You know, I think that's gonna be okay. I think we're gonna... I really like the way that this is set up and that it's kind of coming off the bottom here, so maybe we'll just let that be lost to the sketch. And that'll be okay. And we're gonna add in our cute little buckle and our dreaded circles. Oh, this is so bad. And again, I wanted this to be a little upside down heart, so let's add that little detail in there. And give the boot some more of our rainbow stripes. I think I'm just not good at tests in general, though. I think it doesn't matter for me much whether they're online or in person. I will study something really well and just like have one random little bit of information that just disappears from my brain when I need it. Which I kind of think is what the internet is for. But also you can't just check the internet on tests, so... Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's true. Another reason that the online classes are not so fun is just you don't actually get to see anybody or talk to anyone, and even if you don't have like a lot of friends or whatever in uni, it's good to just have social interactions with people. I mean, human beings are like genetically engineered to be social creatures. Like, we are supposed to rely on others for all sorts of things, like chemicals or food. So, you know, if you know that that's something you need, that sounds like a good move. Okay, cool. And I think that is the boot being done. Ooh, is that the whole sketch? Is the whole sketch done? Oh, it looks so pretty. It actually came out so good. I think I'm gonna give her some little flashy little bottom lash things. And I think that might be it. Oh yeah, that sounds like a lot of commitment. Well, I mean, I always think that if you are going to college, you should totally go for something that you definitely want to do and not something that you might decide is not for you afterwards, like I did. And I mean, I paid for mine, and I don't know what your situation is, but also, you know, if you're doing stuff with your own money, you should get to do what you want. So, it's always best to just, you know, try stuff, and if you don't like it, don't just stick with it because it's you're supposed to or whatever. Just do what you want and what is gonna make you enjoy yourself. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I've done some little coding games and stuff that I made by myself since being out, but also it is kind of tricky to do like game design stuff with just me. So, you know, maybe we'll go back to that at some point, but for right now, the art stuff is stuff I can do all by myself. And that's kind of great. Well, I say all by myself. I have my very cool mod editor here. Um oh, no, you're fine. Go ahead and talk in the chat. I mean, I'm pretty sure that that's in no way a bad thing for me, so go right ahead. We are going to start coloring this piece. So I'm gonna make sure the sketch is turned off, and it is. And we're gonna remember to add a layer because I am a spaz and sometimes I do not remember to add a layer. Okay. And I think we're gonna go through and make sure our important colors are swatched in here first by coloring in this little feather extension in her hair that I said was gonna be kind of feathery and an extension. I'm saying the same words over and over again. I swear, I will get the hang of this talking to the air thing at some point. Not quite there yet. Cool. And we're gonna remember to add layers. That is something that has been consistently a problem for me since I started doing digital over traditional art. Is I start drawing and I don't realize that I've drawn like 6 different things and they're all on the same layer and they're all like really detailed and I can't change anything about them. And I've just done traditional art but with pixels. So, you know, my brain is an interesting thing. It sometimes does what I want it to, and sometimes just makes really dumb decisions, like not remembering to add layers. And I'm gonna talk about adding layers over and over again. Maybe my brain will remember this time. Since I'm supposed to be talking to myself anyway. I'll just keep saying the word layers, layers, layers. Maybe I'll catch on. I also want to make sure that these colors are really saturated. So... Oh, hi! I also want to make sure these colors are really saturated, so I'm going to avoid putting any white in them so that they look just like really bright colors, which I know sounds kind of counterintuitive, but if you keep your colors really saturated and you just add like a little bit of shadow to them, it usually will make your colors look more saturated, just because, you know, there isn't usually like pure colors if you're gonna look at stuff, right? Like there isn't gonna be some green that's all the way over here for the most part unless you have paint or something. So if you pick somewhere over here that's very, very saturated but also has some shadow in it, usually looks like this very saturated green, but just like in a natural lighting, so that your eye is actually gonna pick it out as more saturated, as opposed to, here, I'll show you if I pick, and I think I just forgot to do layers after I stopped talking about them. As soon as I stopped talking about them, I forgot to do the layer. That makes sense. But here, this is a good opportunity to show you anyway. See, if I have this screen that's got just a little bit of darkness to it, and I have this screen that's, see, like this almost looks like not real, right? It just looks kind of like a fake green almost, right? It looks like a dye or like something that is saturated with color on purpose, right? And not something that would just exist in the world. So, you know, if you want something to look like very artificial and very dyed and very colored, like, go ahead and pick those. But if you want it to be just like a very bright color but still look like something that isn't totally artificial, like I wanted these feathers to kind of be feathers, right? I don't really want them to look, I do want them to look dyed, but I don't want them to look like they're not real. I know some of those plastic feathers get really, really bright, but if you dye like, you know, natural colors, usually they don't get as bright as this. They get like, you know, just kind of tinted, right? So we want it to look kind of more tinted than dyed, I guess. And I'm just picking different amounts of shadow based on what these colors are, like, I think, and I'm just adjusting as I go. And I think I forgot to add a layer. Excuse me, to add a layer again. I'm drinking carbonated juice, so excuse me if I burp. And see, like, about here is where I had it for the green, and that looks really nice, but since this blue is already a little bit cooler, I'm gonna add a little bit less shadow to it, just so that it stays looking bright. Cool. And gonna remember to add a layer, and add purple here at the end. Cool. And I think I'm gonna take this and drag it under all of these cute little feathers that we've done so far, and we're gonna give our character just like some, just kind of some basic brown hair so that these feathers really stand out, you know, just like some very neutral color brown hair. Not that dark, not that light, just very mid-tone brown. And I'm gonna show up just a little bit. And here I'm gonna see where I messed up on the feathers, I'm sure, so I'll go fix that
We're gonna color in all of the hair with this brown, and then we will go and add highlights with dark spots and stuff after the fact. And I'm just doing that again. Typically, I do traditional art, so, or I mean, I say typically, but I used to do traditional art. I mostly do digital now, but my origins are my origins are traditional art. So even though I mostly do digital art now, if I add all of the colors to the hair all at once, I am much less likely to remember that I am working on the computer and that I have to follow the computer rules. So we're gonna do all the flat colors first, and then I'll go add shadows and highlights and whatever after the fact. But no, I also think it's easier to adjust colors. You know, if you put all of your highlights and stuff in right away, and then you decide that you don't like the base color of like the hair or something against your other colors, it's a lot harder to change that after you've already got your highlights and stuff in here. So I'm just gonna add some flat colors first, and then we'll go in and add all of the highlights and everything. And I want to make, and I'm not going to care too much about coloring the hair real nice, because again, I am going to come and add shadows and highlights and stuff later, but I am going to make sure that just the edges where the hair color is meeting the line art look really clean, just so that it doesn't make the line art look any worse just because I colored it bad. Okay, so let's make sure the hair is coming in. And here on the face and stuff, I'm gonna come and color in other stuff later so that I can be a little bit less careful with, but I still want it to mostly meet up with the line art just so that it's easier to change my mind. That is the big benefit of digital art over traditional art, I think. And it is a deadly, unescapable trap for perfectionists. And that is that you can change whatever you want forever. Like, you can put whatever you want on the page, and the page is never going to stain, it's never going to forget what you put down before, it's not gonna curl or fade if you work on it too long, so you can sit there and fix whatever you want forever. And that is great and horrible. Because if you're me, you see all these little tiny things that you did wrong and you go, oh, I can fix that. Oh, I can fix that. Oh, I can fix that. And the drawing is never finished. So sometimes you just have to let little things be little things. If you heard me earlier, I was talking about how as long as these are vaguely circle shaped, I think they're gonna look fine when I zoom out. And that is based on a drawing tip I got from, oh gosh, probably someone else on the internet a long time ago. If it's your tip, feel free to like cite your video or whatever if you see this. But I got this tip that was something along the lines of don't work on your drawing like way zoomed in for the whole time that you're working on your drawing. If you need to zoom in and fix something that you can see from far away and it's going to be a problem and you just need to zoom in to fix it, that's one thing. But if you are working on a drawing and the whole time you are zoomed into like 400 times, no one is going to see your drawing at 400 times zoom. They're all going to see your drawing like fully zoomed out in all its glory. And if you work on it fully zoomed in the whole time, all of those little tiny details that you work so hard on are not going to look like you want them to because you've been working on them so focused and zoomed in. You're going to just create a bunch of little tiny details that nobody ever sees. And you're going to worry about little tiny lines that nobody ever sees. And you're going to worry about little tiny everything that nobody ever sees. So I think mostly you want to make sure that when you're coloring and when you're working on big edges and things like that, that you zoom all the way out and you look at your drawing and you make sure that you're not worrying about tiny little bullshit that is going to affect nothing overall because nobody's gonna see it. Like, I used to spend probably more, like when I just started doing digital drawing, I would spend like the whole time that I was drawing, like just zoomed into every little tiny microscopic detail, and my drawings looked horrible because I just wasn't looking at them as like a whole piece. I was looking at them at a bunch of tiny little details. Well, yeah, of course. I'm not saying you can't go in and refine things. I'm just saying that if it's not a detail that, needs to be cleaned, just don't worry about it. That was my whole point. Because, especially, again, if you are just making stuff for Instagram or whatever, like, especially then, there's very little need for all of the little tiny details to be perfect. If you're doing commissions or something, and people are gonna have stuff up on their wall, of course you don't want to have a bunch of odd spots and things. Yeah, models are really different though than a lot of like two-dimensional art. A lot of the time models are meant to look really rendered, whereas I think in digital art a lot of the times when people have stuff that is meant to look really rendered, like it really would just look better if they had a model and just like took a picture of it, because when people draw stuff by hand, usually it's going to have some human element to it that's variation. Yeah, VTuber models are usually meant to look a lot more refined and a lot more clean. So they do usually have a lot. But they're also something that people are going to like continuously update over time forever, because it's like a main part of their viewer base or their character or whatever it is that they're using it for, right? A lot of the time when you're doing an art piece, even if it's a commission, right, something that's supposed to be like for someone specific, super nice, and it's just like a contained art piece, a lot of the time, that isn't going to be something that continuously earns you money or continuously earns you attention from that viewer or continuously earns you, you know, even just appreciation. Like it's not worth it for somebody who's going to create like a packaged item for someone to spend, you know, an exorbitant amount of time on those things. I mean, if someone is paying you to work on something, you should work on it for the amount that they are paying you to work on it. Like that is that is just, you know, you shouldn't overly worry about it just because, you know, if you worry about it forever, then and lots of people are paying you to do lots of different things, then you're never going to get to the other stuff that people are paying you also to do. So, you know, if you have like one commission, right? And that's the one commission you're going to do all year, and someone's paying you to work on something all year, then, I mean, go ahead and obsess over every little tiny whatever, make the best VTuber model of forever. I was just saying, you know, if you have, you know, just like a commission that someone's paying you 20, $40 for, it's not worth you spending the whole time 400 times zoomed in to fix little tiny details if they're gonna make it a little profile picture for 2 weeks and not use it after that, or if it's like a base work for somebody else, like a tattoo artist sketch or something. Yeah, I mean, like, totally, if somebody wants to pay you to make a model, or if it's your model and it's going to continuously make you money, like, go ahead and work on that for forever. But, like, you know, if somebody's going to pay you to work on it forever. Like, if you have an art piece, right, usually it's meant to be like a single moment of expression, right? Like somebody is going to see it and enjoy it and observe it, and then that's going to be it, right? Like models are going to be like a central part of like your character for like a really long time. Yeah, I mean, I'm like I said, I'm not opposed to working on things if like they're important. I just meant, you know, you shouldn't worry about little stuff that isn't going to actually affect things, right? Like I'm going in and fixing some little tiny things around this line art right now, but also this is just a piece that I'm doing for you guys here for free, and you guys are watching here for free, and it's just for fun. So if I didn't fix them, it wouldn't be that big a deal. It's just that I want to fix them. So I'm going to. But I don't have to. And it's not going to bother anybody if I don't. Except me. So I'm going to fix them. And I'm going to drag this under the shoulders because I don't want to worry about any over them, and I'll go fix any spaces later. And we're gonna give them kind of like an ashy tan look because our superhero has been out here fighting crime. They have used their infinity gauntlet for perfect eyebrows but not perfect skin. That is too dark and not saturated enough. We are gonna put it like right here. That looks great. Make it a little bit gray looking, a little bit washed out. And then I'll just add some super cool makeup on top. For all of our rainbow stuff. We have been kind of doing matching makeup for all of the pieces so far, so maybe we will add some rainbow makeup to go with all of our other rainbow. And come and work real close for the ear here. Because I want these little curls I have on her face will look nice. Oh, I still have the brush like huge for block coloring the hair. That would probably make it easier if I turn that down. There we go. Just clean up the hairline just a little bit, and there we go. Cool. And zoom back out and figure out where else we need the skin tone on her chest and her arms, and also where the bodysuit ends on her legs. Okay, cool. So we're gonna do this little chest piece bit first. To come in and erase this sleeve a little bit here. And we're just gonna block color in her arms. Ah, fun. We love when people have plans. Anything exciting going on? Or just getting out? What's almost doing with scarves? Gonna block color in the legs too with the same kind of ashy tan color. And And I think usually ashy does usually mean more like dry. I'm just calling it ashy because I have a lot of gray in it. So maybe I'm using that incorrectly in like skincare terms. Ah, well, best of luck. That sounds like a good goal. Yeah, that's another one of the things that I think is way easier in in-person classes than online classes is just like being accountable for stuff, because if you have like a lot of people all doing the same thing, it's a lot easier to just, do it, because again of the social creature thing. But in online classes, it kind of is just always you keeping track of yourself, doing your own stuff in your own house or room or whatever. There isn't a whole lot of accountability from anybody except you. Peer pressure is sometimes a valuable tool when used appropriately. Yeah. I think it's also probably a lot easier for people to just not take the exams all that seriously, because if you're just keeping yourself accountable and everybody's not going, oh, the test is coming up, oh, the test is coming up all the time, and it's just you going, oh, the test is coming up when you remember about the test, it's usually a lot less present and in your brain. Especially, if your professors or classes or whatever are not all of that good about making sure you're being notified when the tests are and where they are and things, or where the times are. But all you can do is do your best, and sounds like that you're doing your best and you're trying this time, so um we're gonna make sure that this is all blocked in. Yeah, I remember there was uh there was this one class I made so many notes for, um because the professor just like, they said that anything that they said during all of the lecture was like fair game for the test, and then they would just like rant about just like Egypt for, gosh, I think that class was like almost 2 hours long, like 3 times a week, and you just had to like listen, and if you missed anything, you were just kind of, SOL. I think I ended up just like, yeah, it was horrible. It was supposed to be taught by this like actual archaeologist, and I think 3 times or whatever that he was there in class. It was so cool. But the rest of the time it was taught by like his assistant teacher or something who was just like this mean, rude old lady that seemed to know a lot less about what she was talking about and just kind of talked. And sometimes she would say things that were just like directly against what was in the textbook. Um, it was kind of frustrating, but also I think I just ended up writing down like every single thing that came out of her mouth for like the whole class in a notebook, and then before the test I just printed out like everything she said between last test and then, and just like read it like probably 4 or 5 times or something, like all the way through. That was horrible, but I did do okay in that class. Like I said, I did okay in school, but I also did like so much work just to do okay. Yeah, well, I mean, if you're second year already, you probably don't have a lot of general education and stuff that you'll have to do anyway, so. Probably all out of annoying dumb classes, and you can do whatever you want with your art or your computers or, anything. Which I really think is what people should be doing with their college and class money anyway, so. Oh, sorry, I thought you said second at some point. Ah, that must have been what I was misremembering, my bad. Okay, cool. Um, and I think I'm gonna start just picking these colors with the eyedropper and adding rainbow everywhere. So we're gonna add some bright red stripes first, up here at the top of the gloves. And we're going to add bright red stripe on the top of the bodysuit too. We've already got the bright red stripe in the hair, so we're not gonna worry about that, cause so we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna get this other glove here. Where else do I need a red stripe? Probably at the top of both of these boots, because even though they're a little bit cut off now, we were planning on making them rainbow boots that match with our character here. And again, we're gonna come down and do these little boots. And since we're doing all of the red, maybe I will also spread some of this around in the feathers in a second when I get done with the top of this boot here. And fill this section in here, and we'll. Oh, I'm realizing I did not color in the skin under her knee there, or I mean under the feathers on her knee there, so. I'm gonna do red feather there, red feather there, red feather there, and one red tuft right here. And one more right here. I think that'll be all our red, unless I gave myself enough space on the suit to repeat, which I don't think I did. No, I did not. Cool. So, we're gonna go back and pick this orange that's real bright. And color in all the second lines. Okay, so we're gonna get this one on the body first. And I have these really fine little lines on the line heart here, so I'm gonna be just a little bit more careful with the fine lines. And bring that up there. Okay, and we're gonna come do the same thing on the gloves. So we're keeping this rainbow pattern going all the way across our costume. And we're also gonna come do the boots. The other one only shows enough that I think we need the red stripe, so we're just gonna do orange on this one boot, and I'm gonna fill in this button. So it'll just be the boot behind it, and I'm gonna make this little strap the same orange, but also all of the rest of that buckle is probably gonna be metal, like with our glove and our little boot tops, so I'm gonna leave that white and just color in the rest of this. And then also I'm gonna come in and do all of our little feathers. We're gonna get some orange ones in here. And I think I'm gonna make the pattern go the other way on the other boots. So we're gonna put the orange on the left of the red feathers instead of on the right. And I think on the waist, we're just gonna have them be on the right. All the way around. Because again, I wanted it to look like it was meeting behind her, so if I mismatch the sides here, it probably is gonna look more like they're two separate little pieces. Alright, I think that's all my orange. Yeah. Okay, so now let's add another layer. We're gonna come over and pick this yellow and do the same thing, but with all of the yellow. Alright, so we have this little yellow cuff. Yellow cuff. And again, I'm going to be just a little bit more careful with the one on the bodysuit just because I had said I wanted it to be pretty tight looking, so I want it to have really clean edges against these little tiny fine lines. Cool. One more cuff around the boot. And add the feathers. And like I said, we're gonna have this one go to the right, so we're only gonna have one yellow feather on that boot and only one on this boot too. Oh, I never came back and fixed the skin. Let me do that real quick before I forget again. Where is that layer? Is it this? No, it's the half of it. Okay. So we're gonna come in here and just fix that little skin section under the feathers here real quick before I forget that it's there. Which, you know, probably wouldn't be that big a deal. It's really not that noticeable, but also I'm gonna fix it anyway. Okay, so that is orange and yellow, I think. Oh gosh, I almost forgot. We gotta add yellow on our belt. So let's pick that back up real quick and just add yellow just to the right of both of our little tufts. And we do actually have 2 yellow tufts here, so 1 and 2. Cool. Now let's pick up our green and repeat that same step with the green. I'm sorry, I'm sure watching me do stripes over and over again is not that interesting. But you know, it's gonna look really cool, I promise. And we're gonna get this body strip really clean looking against those tiny edges again. Just because I still want this to look like a superhero costume, right? Like I want it to look very posed, very done up. I want to make sure that I get all of these lines very printed, very clean looking. Cool, and I want to come around and do some green feathers. And this is going to be the first one that comes back around the legs, so we're going to make sure we do that. A green feather there. And a green band for the shoe. and green on the waistband. And there's just a little tiny tuft in the back here, so that's going to be the last one on that side, but I do want to make sure that I get it colored in there. Alright, cool. So now we're gonna now we're gonna scroll up a little bit and come up here and pick this blue. And blue next. Cool. And we're gonna do that. Oh, and we have no more blue on this other band because we are doing that glove. So we're gonna come up here and do our little bodysuit band. And here we have some little fabric folds, so I'm gonna be careful of those too. Here we go. And still have a couple little waistband tufts. Some feathers. And the top of this boot. Really do like the rainbow colors I picked for this. I think I ended up picking the hues and stuff really well because they do look really nice together. Yeah, I think that is it. So we'll come up and get this other purple. And do our last band of colors. And I said I was gonna give our characters some rainbow makeup to go with their suit, because I've given all of our other characters makeup that matched their outfits, but I think I like the idea of the rainbow outfit being kind of the focus in this one, so I think maybe I'll just let her face be kind of plain. Maybe like just some very light facial accents or something, but I really do like the way that all of these purple costume pieces are coming together, so... Or, I mean, sorry. All these rainbow costume pieces are coming together now that I'm at purple, which is the last one. We're gonna get these little fuzzy bits in the waistband. And then that should be, I think, all. Oh. Now, I think that little bit in the waistband should be everything. And then I can add our shiny metal, and I do have an extra stripe on this other hand, but I think I'm gonna just make it red anyway real quick. And just have it be like the one thing that repeats, and that'll be okay. I wanted to have some white and black accents on the costume here for the bottom and for this little yin yang thing that she's holding. So we're gonna just real quick take some really light gray and paint the background that really with the light gray so that I can actually see where I'm gonna paint the white. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm going to come over here and get like a really bright pure white, and I'm gonna come paint the bands on the bottom of the suit with this, and also part of that yin yang that she's holding. Paint these little bands in around the fuzzy feather bits. Cool. And I'm also gonna take not a full black because I want my line art to stand out still, but just like a very dark gray, and color the inside of the bottom piece with this. Now I'm just going to block color this in, and I think we will be just about done with the block coloring. Ready for do other stuff. Cool. And we're gonna get kind of a gold, bronzy, metal color, and that's gonna be all of our metal accents, and we're gonna go block those in real quick. Want to make sure we add these accents over here on our glove. On this other sleeve. Around our jewels. And on our little finger bands. Great. And I want to make sure that we get the same color on the boots. Because I want it to look again like it's a whole outfit, like everything is just supposed to be all of these colors together anyway. So I just make sure they're all picked from exactly the same, then it has a much higher chance of looking like they're all meant to be that way. Cool. Oh, almost forgot. Little buckle. Cool. And since we're just gonna give her like some really, not even like real makeup, we're just gonna give her some just color in her face. So I'm gonna block in her eyes. And give her some kind of pink lips, but not quite as vibrant as our other characters' makeup has been. Just I need that to be there we go. I'm gonna kind of smudge that out, give her kind of like the e-girl sunburn look, but you know, like just real, because she out fighting crime. And just soften this a little bit so it looks more like a makeup powder, but or sunburn. Cool. And we're just gonna take your skin tone and brighten it up a little bit, like we've got some kind of a pale eyeshadow. Oops. Am I not? Oh, I'm still using the smudge tool. Haha! I was like. And there we go. Just soften it up a little bit. Cool. Now we just have like some very clean, natural looking makeup. And I'm gonna come pick this metal color and get some darker brown for the leather on this glove. And I'm gonna make sure I'm not still using the smudge tool. And we're gonna get this glove colored all the way in. And do our best to avoid all of these metal bands. It's probably fine for this to all be on the same layer because they're all separated. I'm gonna go through and just pick all of these colors for the stones. And I don't know if this is the order that they are on the Infinity Gauntlet or whatever, but I am gonna just put them on in this order because I am, and I'm not looking at the picture anymore, so we're just guessing. We're doing an educated guess that they are in some kind of an order and that it might be this one. And we're gonna pick blue and purple feather down. That's the other benefit of all of the red, blue, and purple and green being all of the same exact hue and everything. So I can just pick it from wherever I want now. Cool. That looks really good for base colors. It looks like I have mostly hit my 3-hour mark, so I'll try to not take up too much of you guys' time. And see if we can knock out some of these shadows and highlights real quick. So I'm gonna take a gray and just cell shade in some shadows, just real heavy. Oh, good job, guys. Sorry, I'm not sure how to say your name, so. But good job. And get some shadows in here on the face. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna be really light with the shadows on the face because we have some kind of nice makeup and stuff going on there, and it's all pretty bright. I don't think it needs a whole lot of shadow, so we're gonna do a little bit there and then shading on the neck. Okay, cool. And we're gonna get just a little bit of shading on the arms and stuff here. Under the sleeves and the chin and stuff. On the elbow. Shadow on the stomach and stuff a little bit. And since this is supposed to look less tight, I'm gonna add less shadow on this underpiece, just like maybe one like right here that's pretty thick shadow. And come in here and do under the legs. And I want those shoulder things to look pretty wispy, so I think I'm gonna just add highlights to them and not shadows. We're gonna add a couple more little tiny shadows on the hair. And one big one along the boot. And I'm gonna make this shadow layer. Oops. Clean that up a little bit. Where you can tell I didn't do a good job with the shadows, even from zoomed out. And also don't know that I need them to be quite that dark, so we're gonna turn the opacity down on this layer just a little. That looks nice. And we're gonna come in and do the highlights. Pick a background color, we should be done. Okay, I did not like the way that the highlights looked when I tried to shift them in here, so we are gonna just draw the highlights. I want just kind of some big comic-y bright ones, though I don't really need them to be real fancy. So we're gonna do some little bubbly highlights in the hair. And also some big bubbly highlights on the legs. Where if we were in the sun, her thighs would really be kind of shiny because I've made them so round. And I'm also gonna come in here with like a pretty bright white that isn't colored and just kind of add some points to the center of these highlights. Just to make them look really shiny. And then again, I want this shoulder thing to kind of just look kind of billowy, so I do want some big old bright shiny highlights, but I want them to look a little bit thinner, kind of stringy, like the sun's just kind of flowing through it. So I'm gonna do some more streaky highlight stuff in this one. And that looks good. Okay, so I'm also gonna take this white and come give my metal some highlights, just because I want it to look really shiny. So I don't think I need to do any gradient highlights, but I am gonna come through and just add some white little sunspots where the metal is just being reflective. There we go. We're gonna do the same thing for the boots. Over here on this other glove. Ooh, that looks so good. I am going to come and pick a background color, I think, now. And oh, I almost forgot to do a little shine on the buckle. Well, this was a perfect time to remember that, because I'm still on the layer and everything. Great, okay. Now let's pick a background color. I think since we've got all of this rainbow saturated color, that we should pick, you know, actually, since I have this really light blue that's gonna be, maybe we'll get like a light red or like a pink or something and do that as a background color, since this was kind of the only other color that I picked was this light blue that was on the scarf. Oh, I've been streaming every Sunday, Pete. My schedule and everything is all up on my channel, and if you want to see some of my other stuff, it's also up on my channel. I think most of my stuff should be over there if you want to find more of my things. So we are going to take this bright pink, I think, and use this as our background. So we're gonna come back to this back paint layer and just fill it with this bright pink. Well, I like that. I want it to be a little bit darker. Oh, yeah, that is unfortunate timing. But I have all of the videos up as VODs and stuff too, and I have them all up on YouTube and things. If you want to check them out there, if you miss one or something, go right ahead. Ooh, I like that. Okay, we're gonna have it be this really dark hot pink, and then I think I'm gonna come down here with more of like a purple accent color, and we're gonna sign it in this accent purple. Is that cool? I like that. I think I'm gonna Make this a little bit smaller and curve it around the body a little better. Curry's yummy. I've been eating lots of leftover curry because I went to a local Indian food place for my birthday, and that was super fun. Alright. Well, that looks really good. Oh, thank you so much. I think that might be it for my drawing. Let me sit here and stare at it for just a second, but I am kinda way over how long I said I was gonna stream. So maybe this is done. It looks nice. Yeah, I think this is it. Well, the piece looks good. Thanks everybody for joining me. Like I said a little bit ago, I've been streaming every Sunday, so if you guys want to come and hang out with me next week, everybody is welcome. And if you can't tune in at the time when I stream, or if you just aren't interested in doing that, go ahead and check me out anywhere else. I've got all my links and stuff. Excuse me, I said that thing about the carbonated drinks. I need to drink some water or something, I guess. But yeah, go ahead and check me out on any of those other links, or if you want to support me in any way through my tip jar, or if you would like to follow me on any of my other socials. All of that helps me out here to just make this stuff for you guys, and I look forward to seeing you guys all again next week. Bye!